So anyone that is, yeah. So anyways, welcome to this special occasion as we mark the completion of those that are learning the DACH Yomi, this new learning cycle that was started with the inspiration of Rabbi Bassman in honor and memory of his mother, with the realization that the number of dapim in Torah Ohr Likkutei Torah is exactly the same number of days of the year when you don't include Shir Shirim. So it's very, very exciting that that we're finishing based on this daf a day cycle, the entire Likkutei Torah, and I mean, I can't say that I learned every daf per se, but I guess I felt Yotzi through my through helping encourage others learn it. But I think the main thing is that we tap into the Chassidish Parsha every week and every day, at everyone according to their level, and that's really the goal of Project Likkutei Torah, is to really make the resources possible, and that's really our mission, to make the resources available and possible for everyone to finish the entire Torah Ohr Likkutei Torah at their level. Obviously, we know not everyone is necessarily shaykh to literally learning the entire thing inside every single year, but there are a select few that are shaykh to it, and those some of those people are here tonight. And maybe we'll kick it off with Rabbi Wordy, who'd like to share a few words, and as one of the Messiahim, and honor us with finishing the last few words of Likkutei Torah. I just want to add that in order to officially do the full Siyum, we would be learning also a daf a week of Shir Shirim. And we're very excited that for the first time in the entire history of Chabad, entire history of the world, since creation, since the dawn of time, that there is now going to be shiurim on every single daf of Likkutei Torah Shir Shirim from beginning to end. We're already, thanks to Rabbi Choni Friedman in Pittsburgh, we're already at daf 43 out of 51 that is uploaded, but we have already up to daf 48, I believe, ready to be uploaded. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll be uploading one every other day or so. And with the goal of in the next few weeks to really finish the entire Shir Shirim as well, as part of this lofty goal. So the whole idea is that if you learn a daf a day plus a extra daf on Shir Shirim, which is very lofty goal, but at the end of the day, the Rebbe said that we should do it. So if the Rebbe said it's possible, then it's possible. And the goal of Project Likkutei Torah is to provide the resources to help make it possible by making shiurim of 30 to 45 minutes in English. So that way, the average balabas that isn't able to learn it inside is able to learn it. And those that aren't even able to do that, they can at least tap in to learn the Chassidish Parsha at whatever level they're able, based on our 5 different levels of podcasts, and actually 6 now, and blogs, and et cetera. So without further ado, Rabbi Wordy, please. Before Rabbi Wordy begins, everyone is invited and encouraged to share a few words of inspiration or just reflections or anything in general they'd just like to share as we mark this occasion. So please just be prepared to be called on to share something. So Rabbi Wordy shares a few words and says, helps us complete V'zayis Bracha.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for giving me this honor. And just before I'm a Messiahim, I just want to say that this entire process has been a big inspiration in my life. I probably spend an hour and change every single day learning Likkutei Torah and being ma'ayin in many of the makoros that I can, as many as I can, many of which have taken me into Sofrim and Sforim that I didn't spend time with earlier in my learning career. And it's expanded my horizons in B'chol Arba Chelkei HaTorah, because I've grown to have a tremendous appreciation for the Geonos of the Alter Rebbe. B'chol Chadrei HaTorah, Nigla Nister, like Shnei Or, as his name was characteristically given to him, that he is definitely an or in all of the Chalakim of the Torah. And just to be able to see the volume of quotations from Zohar, Eitz Chaim, pre-Eitz Chaim, and all those kind of places. And then when I come upon them, to actually be able to have at my fingertips the electronic ability to find those kinds of things. And even occasionally when the Mar Mokom is not so clear in the Likkutei Torah itself, I extract the words and then I do an internet search, and I'm able to find other Chassidish forum or even early Kabbalistic forum where these things are mentioned, and it becomes quite a quest as I begin to unpack all those kinds of things, and it's infinitely enriching to be able to spend time every single day with the Alter Rebbe in a very as the Rebbe Rashab said, Ich gehe in Himmel und das Forum lozich über. The Alter Rebbe, Ano Nafshi Ksovis Yehovis, wrote so much, and I appreciate the Mesiras Nefesh more and more that Devorah Leah, his daughter, had, that the Alter Rebbe should be able to continue his work to this level of completion. And I even appreciate so much more the Gaonos of the Alter Rebbe's grandson, the Rebbe Tzemach Tzedek, and the amount of labor that he put into being mechaber and selecting and taking solas nikia from all of the manuscripts that he had at his fingertips, and to assemble them into this what I would call in fancy English or Latin words, opus magnum, this fantastic work that we have the privilege of learning the Likkutei Torah. So that's it's transformed my life, not just in Haskalah, but very much more so in Avoda, because as we have all experienced, there are so many golden nuggets of concise and sometimes even detailed and unpacked inspirations into Avoda, things that you can contemplate and meditate to enrich your davening experience. And I think for me, that's probably been the most of it all, because as I reach this later phase in my life, because I now am retired, I have the time to be able to learn the Likkutei Torah and then to sit down and think about some of these things as I start my morning avodas hatfilah, and being on this journey with this group, following the schedule, which keeps me on my toes, has privileged me. The only thing I wish is more of a gift of energy, so that because we're covering an entire page in a day, which is 4 columns, which is quite a formative task. I wish that I had the ability, Hadron Aloch, Daiton Aloch, to be able to come back again, because I noticed so many things that I wish I could just fold up and put in my shirt pocket as reminders close to my heart, to be able to bring them up to my memory on command and demand, to be able to have resources in my fingers when when I'm looking for inspiration and when I need to say something. Oh yeah, I remember I learned that, but oh, what page was it on? So, all those kinds of things, that's really more that. And so looking forward, I'm really looking forward to the second cycle of this, because the first time, a lot of it was discovery, and now it's going to be rediscovery and being able to explore a little more, a little deeper, and perhaps be able to commit more of it to memory, because that's the greatness of being able to do a chazara. So those are my remarks at this moment. Okay, no haskalah, just reflection. Okay.
Okay, you want to share the last word in the end of?
Well, I'm actually since the actual end is a hasofa and a kitzer from another mimer. Okay, I'm actually going to messiah with, and it's
For the kitzer.
It's it's one of those. I'm not going to go into details. It's one of those very concise, obscure kind of things to talk about. I'm just going to focus on the end of the last full mimer.
Yeah. Okay. And I just want to, if it's okay if I interject, just to clarify, based on this DACH Yomi cycle, on leap years, it will include all Haisafis, but on non-leap years, it will not include Haisafis. And that is essentially the nature of the cycle. But obviously the Haisafis for Dvarim is pretty much non-existent except for this small little kitzer, to my knowledge. But yeah, go for it. Yeah, feel free to use.
So as I finish here, you just reminded me of something. The Maimorim for Tishrei are extensive and very rich, and of course, some sedras are very short, and you're able to stay pace with the DACH Yomi and pretty much where we are in the Torah. So, but Tishrei is, of course, one of those times that we really spend a lot of time with the Moados. And so somebody saw me and said, "Oh, you're learning the Chassidish Parsha." I said, "Well, not really. I'm really in Shmini Atzeres right now." And the person said to me, "Wow, you are so lucky because you were able to carry Tishrei. You were able to carry Tishrei all the way into Cheshvan," which is in fact the case. So it's been quite an inspiration. Everybody agree with that little insight?
Yeah, no, it's very beautiful because I had a lot of sphakus actually. I'm like, you know what? It's now Bracious already. Really, we should just start Bracious. But no, you're right. At the end of the day, taking Tishrei with you into the whole year is very powerful. And also, one thing I'm realizing, we're gonna have to figure out how the cycle is gonna work in years to come, because I'm noticing each year it's gonna be slightly less than a full year with finishing. So we'll keep getting earlier and earlier. So obviously the Rebbe's Hira in the most ideal sense would be to make a Siyum on Simchas Torah, on the Likkutei Torah. But with this Daf a day cycle, it's soon gonna meet up and get earlier and earlier. So it will actually end up being that we'll finish. I don't know if next year, how it's gonna work out next year and the year after, but it'll get closer and closer to Simchas Torah. And so it'll work out pretty nicely, actually.
I leave the determination of this calendar cycle to the greater minds than mine. Okay, I want to work that thing out. I'm just so happy that I'm able to follow a program that I photocopied I printed out a copy of the calendar.
Yeah, which is on our website, projectlikkuteitorah.com/about us. It's in the about us section.
Okay, I didn't know that, but it's okay.
It's Yomi online. It's on the website.
You can see this particular safer has fallen apart. Okay.
Wow.
And I'm so proud of that. That I'm not going to rebind it. I'm just going to keep using it. Okay. It folds actually in half now when I don't have the cover on it. So it makes although it's a heavy safer to hold in your hand when you're sitting, but nonetheless, it's the fact that I have this printed calendar, and every day I'm able to, not in focus here, but every day I'm able to just roll my finger across and say, "Oh, where should I be today?" Okay, and it helps very much to keep me on track, because it's how it is. Okay, I don't want to borrow from today, or and pay tomorrow, kind of thing. So, all right, you asked me to be Messiah, so
yeah.
I'm going to do that like right now.
Yeah,
so,
and then we'll share something really quick, and then we'll call on one of our other Messiahim to start off Torah Ohr for us.
Great. All right, so I'm actually on page Kuf, column Daled on the top.
You mean base?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yes, I'm on the front side. Column base on the top. Very good. Thank you very, very much for reminding that. Okay, great. And so we're Messiah, the mimer about the three Madregas, Mamale, Sove Hakorov, and Sove Harochok, where it was talking about Mozon and Lavush and bias. And here we go. So now, Ubechol zeh, I'm 4 lines from the top. I'm just going to read the Hebrew. Ubechol zeh, Yuvon Maimer Razal, al pasuk lahaniach bracha el beisecha, sheha baracha laodam hi bishvil ishto. V'zehu, what it says in the Gemara, miyomai lo korosi leishti ishti ela leishti beisi. B'tzorach lahavin. The hare b'ksuva kosev o ish lishto ano oker v'ozim. V'lechora tamua. Eich kosev ano oker v'ozim. V'halo amru ein adam nizon ela b'shvil ishto. So what do you mean I'm going to feed you? You're the one who's giving me all the brachas to get the food. So which direction is it? Okay, so ach be'emes shnehem emes ki ikar ho'avoda lahamshich b'chinas chasodim ho'ayonim hu me'bechinas dechora rak sheyochol lahiyos sheyu hachasodim rak begiluy elakus ukedoma v'lo yishtalta. In other words, the chasodim will remain lamaila v'lo yishtalsha lamata klo b'parnosa gashmi Siyum shach mechinas chesed v'rachim de'atzilus lamata no say lechem l'chol bosor gashmi. V'zehu b'shvil ishti. That's the bracha coming down into gashmi is b'shvil ishti. Ishto b'chinas nukva malchus de'atzilus amachayev beya. Dehi nikras besi. Shehu hamshachas makif o elyon. Shehu anosen koach lios hamshacha lamata b'gashmi is. V'ayin mashamavur b'parshas Korach al pasuk v'yigo shkedim v'ayin mashamavur sof b'bramaskil v'yosiso bigdei kodesh.
Wow, so it's all about the wife. That's how the Likkutei Torah ends. It's really the wife is where it's at. Beautiful, Yeshakayach. Okay, Rabbi Elensky, would you like to honor us with being maschil on Torah Ohr?
Wow.
Gracious.
Yes, sure. I have it in front of me actually. Hashgacha Pratis.
Oh, Hashgacha Pratis. I'm not surprised. I don't want to. Not surprised in this.
I didn't have the Likkutei Torah, but I have the Torah.
Oh wow! Okay, beautiful.
So. Yeah.
Oh yeah, please explain in your, when you started, please explain, feel free to explain in your own words and share a few remarks after you explain just this project in general and Likkutei Torah. Any words of inspiration, anything, any remarks, reflections you'd like to make to help inspire us as we dive into Torah Ohr. Would be greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Mr. Shem. So it starts off with the word Hashamayim. Hashamayim kisi v'oretz hadaim ragloi ez vayis v'geimer. It's a pasuk from the Haftarah of Rosh Chodesh. If you notice, and the Rebbe and the Alter Rebbe says on the pasuk, lahavin eich shaycha lav yisparach lemar kisi v'hadaim ragloi shari ein leidmus haguf ve'ein begeder. So Baruch Hashem, Mazel Tov to all the Mesaimim and Maschilim. Hopefully I'll be one of Maschilim. Not Maschilim, but Maschilim. The Ches and the Sof. So if most of you, if not all of you, already know that in Tafshinun Beis, which is the Kinus Ashluchim, where the Hayra is to learn all Likkutei Torah and Torah Ohr, the Rebbe made a Siyum or a Hadron, it seems like, on Likkutei Torah, because the Rebbe spoke about the beginning of Likkutei Torah and the end of Likkutei Torah, and the connection between the two, that they both talk about Ma'al Ban, Yichud Ma'al Ban, and the whole Sicha of Chai Yisara, which is this week's parsha, was the Indian of Yichud Ma'al Ban, the Indian of Ashliach and Eliezer, making the shidduch between Yitzchak and Rivka. So it's very appropriate for now, when we're in Shabbos Chai Yisara, Parshas Chai Yisara, that we're making a siyum. It's also interesting, I was looking, the beginning of Torah Ohr and the end of Likkutei Torah, Shir Hashirim, are both have the mimer is a Rosh Chodesh mimer. If I'm not mistaken, either the same pasuk or the next mimer is the pasuk Hashemayim Kisi and the next mimer here in Likkutei Torah is Kikasha Hashemayim Chadashim Varetz Chadasha, and it's very interesting that Rosh Chodesh chose to be the beginning and the end
Hmm.
of Likkutei Torah and Torah Ohr. I just wanted to mention that I was thinking about if I have to say something, or if I want to say something tonight, what to say. Two points, two nekudas. One is, it occurred to me years ago that because I think the Friedrich Rebbe says once in the Sikha, although Bechlal Tanya is Torah Shebechsav of Torah Chassidus, and Likkutei Torah and Torah are talked about as the Yesod for the Torah Shebal Peh of Chassidus. But if I'm not mistaken, unless I read it, unless I imagined that I saw in a Sikha of the Friedrich Rebbe, that he calls Likkutei Torah and Torah the Torah Shebechsav of Chassidus, which is very interesting. That Al Kaponim, it's the Yesod for Torah Shebal Peh. That's what I've seen very often. That it's the foundation of all the Torah Shebal Peh of Chassidus is founded in Torah and Likkutei Torah. Besides the fact that Torah Shebechsav is Tanya, but the feeling that you get, Torah Ohr and Likkutei Torah are also different. Torah Ohr is more, not so much filtered through the Tzemach Tzedek, although the Tzemach Tzedek organized the Torah and Likkutei Torah. But it's not just that in Likkutei Torah he added his own notes. There was more work that the Tzemach Tzedek did on Likkutei Torah that he didn't put into Torah. In Torah, generally the Hanachos are the Hanachos of the sons of the Alter Rebbe, or the brother of the Alter Rebbe. They were not so much done by the Tzemach Tzedek himself putting in his own words, in his own. There's more of the Tzemach Tzedek in Likkutei Torah than there is in Torah. And Tanya's, we know the Hasidim Arishanim, especially this one chassid that tells about in the stories that he had a dream, and based on that he started reading a parak a week, finished the whole Nun Gimel Prakim of Tanya as my Besedra. There was like a chumash. So it came out to me, especially when I heard that when they printed the Likkutei Torah in 2 volumes, there was a question whether it was according to the Ratzon of the Rebbe, because the Rebbe wanted, apparently, the Rebbe wanted that they should dafka be printed, the 3 parshas, all the sections of Likkutei Torah to be printed in 1 volume. So it came out to me that since we know that Tanakh and Torah have a difference, and Nevi'im and Ksuvim are also different, to an extent, that especially in Nevi'im, the word Nevuah is one thing and Ksuvim is a little different, and yet the Megillas Esther, which call Sfarim B'Teidim Chutz Megillas Esther when Mashiach comes, is in Ksuvim. So that the Tanyas of Chassidus would be the Torah, and the Nevi'im would be Torah Ohr, because it's more of the feeling that came from the Alter Rebbe, not so much filtered through the understanding, the Haskalah, the great Chachma and wisdom and Das of the Tzemach Tzedek, and Likkutei Torah, the Ksuvim, and which brings me to my next Nekuda, and that is, we know the Torah Shebechsav, not that it's the same thing, obviously it's just a hekesh, it's just a smichus ba'alma, but Torah Shebechsav, in literal Tanakh, a person who reads it without understanding the words is yetzer the mitzvah of Talmud Torah. Even if he doesn't understand, which Alter Rebbe is very didactic to say in Likkutei Torah and in Tanya, that Davka, a person understands Torah Shebal Peh, that's when he's fulfilling the mitzvah of Lumadatem, that you're learning Torah. Which Torah Shebal Peh is even Tanya's Torah Shebal Peh. It's Torah Shebal Peh, but it's written down. But it happens to be it's Torah Shebal Peh. So, but we know Tanya also, the Mittel Rebbe said that it strengthens the Eson of the Neshama when you read the words of Tanya, even just the words of Tanya. So, since this is a limud that could sometimes have to be l'girsa, depending on either behechlik because of the time of day or because just whatever the reason is, the learning is l'girsa. I just wanted to strengthen the inyan, that the Rebbe is strengthened to learn l'girsa. The Chassidus Parsa and Igros Keda, sometimes the Rebbe suggests people to learn also Chassidus l'girsa, l'migros, and he says, for example, and he one of the examples is the Chassidus Parsha of Likkutei Torah and Torah Ohr. And that would be the if somebody feels like, I don't know if the Rebbe in fact, I from what I heard, that wasn't included in the list of Hayrais for the Chassidus Parsha, was to say the words if you don't understand it. That's not something the Rebbe said, and therefore I have a big suffix, but I don't know who's going to hear this already. So whoever hears it, you guys, you suffer. But there is a mila, if you can't understand it, I'll kapon to read it, like the Rebbe says actually in a letter.
Wait, can we mute? What's going on here? Okay.
One last nakuda, just to strengthen this nakuda that the Rebbe says in an answer to someone about he gets stuck on certain parts. I don't know the question exactly, but the Rebbe says if you get to a part in a mimer that you really don't understand, you're having a difficulty, go right there and you'll go back to the difficult parts you can go through, just read it and go right there. So the same thing is if a person wants to finish the daf and he wants to accomplish and he wants to, Imriz Hashem, complete Torah and Likkutei Torah, like the Rebbe wants, the Rebbe said by the Shluchim, not just the Shluchim, obviously the Shluchim and the Rebbe, not Sicha, the Rebbe said that every Yid is a Shliach. It's just that some are Zeicha that they do it 24/7, and some are, some are Shliach 24/6.5 or whatever it is. So, so whatever it is, but it's Ha'ira l'Rabim, and it's Mogad l'Sicha, and so I just wanted to strengthen that this wonderful project, and I happen to have made the Siyum during the 9 days. I think that we made the Siyum also this year during the 9 days on Torah.
On Sefer Bamidbar.
Sefer Bamidbar. So I had made years ago a Siyum on Torah, and it was a very gratifying experience. Never looked at Torah, I never made it, but I always got stuck on things I didn't understand, and I just gave up. But anyway, so just a big chazak means chazek, and yeshar koach to all the members.
Yeah, yeshar koach. And it's beautiful. I mean, you notice, I think it's the third to last mimer in V'zaytze Bracha. V'haya midi chadish b'chadshay midi Shabbos b'Shabbosay. That's the Rosh Chodesh mimer I think you're referring to.
No, but also in the Shir Hashirim, in the end of Shir Hashirim, the last mimer is Hashemayim Kisi V'Aretz Adam Ragloi.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. And that's actually the truth is if we really want to, the reality is if we want to do a proper Siyum on Likkutei Torah, really we should be reading the last.
But the Rebbe spoke about the beginning and the end of Likkutei Torah, not Sicha.
Wow.
But the beginning of Likkutei
Torah. This there's this Inyan Hashemayim. I'll read the last kitzer of Shir Shirim. Inyan Hashemayim chadashim chulei makifim upnimim chadashim shlei bo adayin b'ishtalshus v'nikras imdim lifnei l'mayla mehaparsa. Beautiful. Which is the whole Inyan of what does it mean Shemayim chadashim. So I mean, obviously I didn't learn this inside, so obviously, but anyways, it's very, very, very exciting. I just want to stress that one really exciting, groundbreaking thing we're doing, in addition to the first time in history having Shirim and the entire Shir Shirim, Likkutei Torah Shir Shirim. Obviously, we're looking at building the Shirim on every daf of the entire Torah, Likkutei Torah. But our biggest goal is our website. If anyone wants, we're still working on building the menu on the website, projectlikkuteitorah.com. But our goal is we actually have someone that's already created individual PDFs of every single daf of Torah Likkutei Torah in the chasidutbehira.com daf, which is essentially the daf, but it is with nikudais and punctuation and ha'aras. So you don't have to go look in the back to check out the ha'aras and everything and more detailed ha'aras. So it's very amazing, powerful. This person that refuses to be acknowledged, a very special Yid, whoever he is, that created this.
Let me understand what you just said now. You're telling me that he took everything from the back and moved it onto the page?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, it's correct.
That's one of the challenges. I have multiple bookmarks here, and going back and forth, it's very time consuming.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So it's very groundbreaking what he's done. In general, it's very not that well promoted, the work he's done, and it's really amazing what he's done. So what we want to really do is be able to not only showcase that, but have that to complement as well the audio shiurim. So basically what we're going to do, we are doing, and we're in the process of doing, is creating on every single daf. Well, on the website, there's going to be a menu where you can search every single parsha and every single daf on that parsha. Click on the daf, and on that page, you will see the detailed daf overview shiur, audio and video, short summary audio and video, and then below will be the PDF of the daf with nekudas. Obviously, with the daf with the nekudas and ha'aras, it ends up being more like 4 to 6 pages instead of 2, but it's still all there. And then it's another great. It will, God willing, our goal is with Hashem's help, over the next month and a half, we will have that completed. We're just working with the web designers to really create the menu structure the way that we want. And another amazing, valuable resource that those that want to learn more slow-paced inside, as opposed to doing La Girsa, there's a Rabbi Lipsker that is doing 5 minutes a day, taking one mimer from the parsha of the week and doing 5 minutes each day, completing one mimer a week. So for those that want to learn more, like in text at a slower pace, that is available.
Can I ask you, are you able to share your screen and show us the resource online?
Yes.
Okay, great. Then I will give you presentation rights. Is that okay with everybody?
Presentation rights are okay. The problem is the menu is a little frozen. You know what? It might not be the best time, unfortunately, because our menu is still in the process, and there's a little glitch in the website right now that we have to fix to make it work. So actually now is actually not the best time, but you can go check out, keep on a weekly basis, feel free to check out the website. And we're going to make it, unfortunately, the Likkutei Torah classes, which is the part of the menu that we've really been working on, for whatever reason, it's not opening right now, at least on my website. So on my browser. So I'm going to have to work with the web designers, the web developers. But it is a long-term goal, and we are going to get to that. So feel free on a monthly basis, just check out our developments on projectlikkuteitorah.com. And and we're on the other biggest announcement is I have a good friend that does videos, promotional videos. He's also in the music business and does videos. He is willing to pro bono help us make a promotional video for Project Likkutei Torah to help inspire thousands, countless other Yidden to learn Likkutei Torah. So if anybody wants to be on the VOD to help create the script for a 1 to 5 minute promotional video, which will be showcased on our website and on our fundraising materials, is more than welcome to message me directly and join that VOD.
One other ha'ara here, okay?
Yeah.
When I typically learn from the original Sforum.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes I travel for Shabbos.
Mm-hmm.
As a mohel, it's part of my calling, and other times I travel for other reasons. And this is a lot to take on an airplane. So in general, what I have the PDF of Likkutei Torah, Torah Ohr that I got from HebrewBooks.org, and I use that in a Kindle reader. except when it comes to Shabbos. Shabbos, of course, okay, I'm oftentimes in places where there isn't a Likkutei Torah. And so I make photocopies of the page. And I just do that in advance, knowing my travel schedule. So I'm just, I'm kind of, you piqued my interest when you said that the actual daf together with the ha'aras is all going to be in one place to be able to, I guess you're saying that's printable text. And
Oh, for sure. Yeah, exactly.
Travel with that. Is that correct?
Exactly. So the website, I don't see a chat box in this Zoom session, but the website is called chasidutbehira.com with pronounced spelled in the Israeli Sephardi pronunciation, chasidutbehira.com with an H at the end. And on that website, he has for every parsha the Chassidish parsha with Nekudas and Ha'aras. And so our goal is to have that more showcased.
Can you spell that for me? Because I just typed in CHASIDUT BEHIROT.
No. 2 S's. CHASSIDUT.
Yes.
And the word Behira, which is BEHIRAH.com.
Got it. Okay, it's a phonetic spelling. Okay.
Yeah, it's all in Hebrew. The website's all in Hebrew, but it's an amazing resource that we are hoping to partner with ChasidutBehira.com into showcasing each daf individually on a dedicated web page so that everyone can search by daf. Okay, we would like to allow
I'm sharing the screen. If anybody wants to see it, it's right here.
Yes, okay. Exactly.
Just share that resource. If you can see it there, the spelling is there. Okay, the page is here.
And then exactly.
So
if you can, if you can unshare your screen so that way we can allow Rabbi Bassman to maybe share a few words. And then afterwards I saw Rabbi Schmerling just remove his video. So I know he wants to share something. I'm joking. No, I definitely would like anyone else, and Rafael Falekirevich, who is a good dear friend of mine, to also share anything, any remarks, any vorts, story, any personal inspiration, anything that would help inspire us as we move forward. And yes, Rabbi Bassman, take it away.
Thank you, Rabbi Yaakov. Just wanted to share Hakaras Atov for taking over this project and for continuing to.
Sorry, Rabbi Bassman is the founder of. He helped start the project and was the I guess the catalyst for really getting this project off the ground. So we owe Rabbi Bassman a tremendous amount of Hakaras Atov, and without further ado.
No, thank you, and Rabbi Yaakov and Hashem. I just want to give you a berachas hedyet that Hashem should give you the kayach to coming from Parshas Vayera, to have the vision and to continue to be inspired by your holy work. And I guess this can be a message for everybody that in general, the more challenging something is, it's a sign that it's an inyan in Kedusha. Because eating ice cream, I just had an ice cream cone, while I was on mute, comes easy. You take the cone and you put the ice cream in and you eat it. And it's over in 60 seconds. But learning a mimer, the Torah Ohr and the Likkutei Torah is challenging. So there really is very limited good that comes from eating ice cream. I think Dr. Yaakov Werdy he's a health coach, and he We'll teach you how to meditate and do yoga practices to overcome your impulses. But the goal is to really work hard, and we all have challenges, and learning a daf of Likkutei Torah, like Rabbi Yaakov said, is challenging. But I believe, and I work with a lot of scientists, so I'm surrounded by perfectionists, and engineers and scientists, and I work with a lot of big, very, very smart people in Torah, big Talmidei Chachamim, and I'm a simple guy. So my message to all these very advanced thinkers is, I think it be learned from a daf and Torah and Likkutei Torah that in order to learn a daf of Torah and Likkutei Torah, you can't be a perfectionist. To learn Legirsa, you have to put yourself in a mode of kind of moving through it at a pace where you want to just kind of get the main ideas. And it's a good reminder that like sometimes we're here to like just kind of get as much as we could, and we don't have to get everything. So I guess that's my message for the day, that like that mimer that Rabbi Yaakov mentioned, with the two Mamorei Chazal and the contradiction about how to understand the place of the woman and the place of the man. So it's fascinating. Do you really chop? You can spend hours on that, but it's you get the basic kind idea, and you can use it later to cross reference and to come back to it and to really. But it's about really massing information, and being a makabel. If you're a makabel from a big rov, you're obviously not in his madrega. So if you're gonna have the fantasy that you're gonna understand everything, I'm just fooling myself. So here we're sitting across the table from the Alter Rebbe, and he's giving us a shir. If we get 50% of it, we're doing amazing. If we get 20% of it, it's well worth it. So anyway, l'chaim.
L'chaim, well said. And just as a side note, we have a beautiful WhatsApp group called, I think most of you guys are in it, called PLT Discuss the Daf. And all Chidushei Torah that are posted in there, we do have a yearning and hope that one day we will soon be able to collect it all and put it in a Kovetz Aras and submit it to the Rebbe, and create a lot of nachas. So please feel free to any chidushim or any thoughts on the daf that you're learning. Please feel free to post it, and we do really hope to put it all together into a kovetz one day. So without further ado, Reb Falak Yarevich, maybe I can share something quickly on just thoughts, any words before we close out, and then also Rabbi Shmerling afterwards. Without further ado.
Are you getting me on? Okay, let me think this through. I guess what I really want to say is really thank you, all the people that put this together, and I think it's fascinating that there's so many different Magidei Shir, all the different. Each day, I check my podcast list, like the downloads, and then I see, oh, this is this person, that person, and then I know that my way to work will be a whole different. It's a different like mode. You're gonna have like Rabbi Cohen. I need to make sure not to be going too fast. Like Rabbi Cohen being so energetic about everything, and then you have you have many different types of Yeshua.
Rabbi Epstein, Rabbi Baruch Epstein,
right.
from Chicago.
Right, Rabbi Epstein. Right, Rabbi Epstein. He's very good. Rabbi Epstein's very good. People I don't know if people realize, but the way he translates words, a very precise way. It means he knows it very, very well. In order to use the specific words, like people might not realize what's going on, but it means that he really knows his stuff. I mean, I was hoping he would be here to tell him thank you, but I guess I need to send him a private message. But whatever. So
It's recorded, so we'll be able to share it with him this meeting, and he'll get your thank you. But please as well,
right.
Amazing.
Right, and in general, I remember in when I was learning in Montreal in Zal over there. So Reb Wolf Greenglass, all of a sudden, he I mean, I wasn't in the Farbrengen. I heard a recording, it was from a few years beforehand, that he mentioned that it's important to learn Torah and Likkutei Torah. Why? Because, like it was mentioned beforehand, it's like the Torah Shabbat Peh of Hasidus. So he explained that if you learn Torah and Likkutei Torah, then you could understand all the other Maimarim, because so many of Maimarim of later Rabbeim are based on like this Maimar of Likkutei Torah, this Maimar of Torah, and it's very true. Like when I'm learning through this past year, I was learning through it. I'm like, hey, okay, so now I understand what the Rebbe is saying, what the Rebbe Shah is saying. Okay, so now it all puts things into perspective, and this also helps also with what Bezalel. By the way, thank you very much, Bezalel. I think maybe it could be that I was in your. Bezalel used to put together a choir in basement Menachem. So I think I was able to be part of his choir once or twice. I don't know if Bezalel remembers. That was way back when. But Bezalel for sure. So what Bezalel mentions that it's important to learn, just to look at it as like you're learning Begir. So you're not trying to understand every single detail and trying to perfect the understanding, because anyways you're dealing with the Alter Rebbe. But the truth is that when you learn Torah and Likkutei Torah, you're learning on that level, and then so then you go to the Rebbe's Maimer, which expands on these few lines of the Alter Rebbe, and then you could get more in depth. So then you kind of going to the next shiur, like the more in-depth shiur, and those are the next Rabbeim. They kind of explain more of what Torah and Likkutei Torah is. So therefore, then you would have both. You would have both the Torah and Likkutei Torah itself, which is more of a broad understanding, and then you have the Rebbe kind of explaining it even more in depth. So you can have both sides. And also, growing up in Chicago, obviously Mrs. Bassman was very special lady. Besides Yossi is my classmate from back in maybe in preschool, maybe kindergarten. I think we were classmates even till I guess through the middle of 8th grade. So I remember Mrs. Bassman. She was in charge of my bar mitzvah. I think actually she like put together what food would be my bar mitzvah. She was like the party planner or something like that. And she always pushed me whenever I would come to their house. Mrs. Bassman would ask me to sing a niggin. So I remember as a kid being pushed by Mrs. Bassman to use my voice. So that's also good memories. But either way, Shaman should have an aliyah, should have a lot of Chassidish Yiddish nachas from all her children and grandchildren.
Oh man.
There should be a schutz for her neshama.
Amen. Yeshakaya.
Of course, I thank you, Yaakov, of course. Yaakov, for all that you do.
Yeah. Reb Falak and I have go all the way back to my college days. I remember Reb Falak being chazan on Yomi Noraim on University of Illinois Chabad. I remember that sweet voice, the chazanis. It's still in my mind whenever on Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, it's like the hineni, when you did that hineni piece. And I still remember the shakai, when you say shakai with that sweet, I still think about it and like I get, Anyways, Rabbi Levi Schmerling, the brother of Rabbi David Schmerling, who's the Magid Yishir for many dapim, and we owe a lot of gratitude to. his brother's following his footsteps and has volunteered to help deliver shiurim and has already done so. And we hope that we merit to continue to have your shiurim, and that we'll be able to, the world will be able to benefit from this crucial project. And without further ado, Rabbi Schmerling, please share with us a couple words. Last few minutes before we close out.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Hanneman and Rabbi Bassman. It's a great project and initiative, and for those involved, I hope to be more on top of the shiurim, and it's great. It's out there. I was thinking there's been a few projects as we're coming very close to Mashiach. So we have the project of Torah Ohr, Likkutei Torah, project Likkutei Torah, and the Rebbe Maharash asked the Tzemach Tzedek, the Alter Rebbe said a certain year Mashiach will come, and he didn't come. So the Tzemach Tzedek said, "What do you mean? Mashiach came in the year Tafresh Ches. He came that year in 1848 because the Likkutei Torah was printed." So the Rebbe Maharash gave his answer. We need it l'mata masar tzvach. We need it in a physical way, but this definitely holds true in a spiritual sense. The spreading of Chassidus, which the foundations of Torah Sheba'al Peh Chassidus through Torah Likkutei Torah, is bringing Mashiach. And in a spiritual way, this is Mashiach. And we have the project Likkutei Sichos, which is the Torah of Mashiach and Tuta'at. So because we're almost a Mashiach, we have this at our advantage to spread more Chassidus and to learn it.
Yeah.
So it's a very special project, and I didn't really learn through most of the dafim this time around, but I hope to start this time with the Schala and listen at least to the short dafim. You know, there's to learn just 10 minutes a day of the short daf, and then try to listen to the longer shir and try to follow along when I can. So encourage everybody to keep going with it and spread it to others, and that way we'll bring Mashiach right now.
Amen, amen. What a great way to close out this Siyum. That bless all of you, that we should merit the full revelation of everything that we learn about in the Torah Ohr and Likkutei Torah. We should merit to see in the most revealed physical fashion. And I think like that is the most real Oris B'Kelim way to explain Mashiach to the average person, is like, what is Mashiach about? Is really just actually seeing what we're learning, making, if we're able to really learn Torah Ohr and Likkutei Torah in the most tangible, real way, that we're really able to internalize it to the fullest extent, and I'm really able to see the godliness that we're learning, then that is Yemos Mashiach. So we can really live Yemos Mashiach right now by really learning and internalizing Torah Ohr, Likkutei Torah. And we really hope, as Rabbi Werdy finishes, we really hope that Rabbi Werdy will volunteer to create the next the maslo, the schedule of the learning cycle for next year. It's kind of a big task, but maybe slowly it could be a group project. You can create a Google spreadsheet and share it with a few other people, and as a team we can complete the schedule so we can post it on the website.
I would like to suggest that if it could be that we shouldn't readjust the beginning of the Torah and the Siyum to be on a different time each year, but that it should be one time, and it should every year continue on that time. Like this year we started Yutes Kislev. Yutes Kislev was a very special day.
Well, I think if you look at I saw a sikh of the Rebbe somewhere that the Rebbe specifically said that the Siyum should be on Simchas Torah, meaning that the theoretically, at least, the ideal way to do it is to finish the entire thing on Simchas Torah, and you're starting anew, just like you're starting Bereshis anew on Simchas Torah. You start and finish on Simchas Torah. Obviously, you have to. So it would take some strategic. Now, the only thing is with the daf hadei, the way it works out doesn't always end up being. It ends up being slightly less than a year, maybe by a couple of days, depending on leap year, not your leap year. So it'll be a team effort working on the calendar. Maybe you can be on the VOD to help make the calendar for next year. Oh no, it doesn't require that much. Just being shared on the Google spreadsheet. But anyways,
Or you could just skip. You could skip Tisha B'Av. Certain years you could just skip Tisha B'Av.
Yeah, no, exactly. There's ways to do it, and so anyways, Bekitzer, it's already 9 o'clock. It's been a full hour. I'm really happy how this Siyum turned out, and thank you all for coming. And Rabbi, where do you have one last thing to say, and then we'll close off?
Well, I noticed that you now have Label Wolf, who is providing some YouTube. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Oh, wow. Yeah, I almost forgot because we weren't focusing on the other projects, but one element of our project is for the learner that wants to focus really in depth and internalize in his bonus and meditate in his bonus kind of style. We enlisted Rabbi Label Wolf, who is a master Kabbalist and very special person, very special Hasidic Kabbalist from Australia, to do a weekly Hisbonenus, 5 minutes a week, on as it relates to one of the Maimarim on the Parsha. And the most beautiful thing is he also is a musician, and he created an album of Nigunim that are basically just very simple musical backgrounds. So we play that to the background. And I think the beautiful thing, the way he does it, is he teaches an insight. He does it in a very Chabad, the traditional Chabad style of his bonus. He teaches the actual Torah, the Vort in Likkutei Torah, or Torah Ohr, and then he guides the listener into a meditation on that topic. So it's grounded in the traditional way of learning of Torah Chabad and Hasidus, and it's very, very beautiful. So I highly encourage all that to join that podcast or YouTube or whatever way you want to consume that content. It's very special. Yeah. Okay, I'll sign off now. Everyone have a wonderful night, and please, Rabbi Wardy, please share with us the recording.
Great, I'll send it to you in the morning.
Have a great night.
Look forward to the next year.
Okay, cool too. Goodbye.